When St. Stephen's revived its long-dormant football program in 2006, there were plenty of doubters. And when none of the Falcons' first 7 seasons produced a winning record, it became harder and harder to turn those doubters into believers. But you could see it happening. With the opening of the beautiful Moore Athletic Complex in 2013, all of the pieces were in place, but it was still going to take plenty of hard work, guts, and determination to become relevant in an area that's one of the hotbeds for high school football in Florida. The 2013 and 2014 seasons provided the building blocks and clear evidence that St. Stephen's football was on its way towards becoming a force to be reckoned with. A program-best 92 record, the school's first 2 postseason wins, and a berth in the Sunshine State Athletic Conference Championship game in 2015 spoke loud and clear. The Falcons had taken flight.
When we got together as a team and we decided, it's time to, set some goals for ourselves. That was the number one goal. At the top of the list was get to the championship game, and just see what happens from there. But yeah, we definitely felt, the vibe, especially first day of training camp, that that it was our turn to run the table, and it's certainly our goal.
And coming from what we did 2 years ago when we were 8-3 to coming up now, up this season, that we definitely knew that we could have something special this year with the team and just everyone growing and getting older and getting more experience. Yeah, we definitely felt like we could do something special.
We had a lot of key guys coming back, and a lot of those key guys were underclassmen. And so everybody had a year of experience together, playing together. So I feel like everybody was a tight-knit group, so we felt like this year could be the year that we can make the run that we did.
This team will be defined by the relationships they built. This team really liked each other. Beyond that, they loved each other. And this team was unselfish. And they ceded the spotlight to one another when they needed to. They made plays when they had to. And that's the thing to me that stands out, is that they really functioned as a unit. And we didn't deal with any drama. We didn't deal with any power struggles. We dealt with nothing but kids who were willing to do whatever they had to do to help the program. And as corny as that may sound, and people might think, well, hey, behind the scenes there had to be something. There wasn't. Anything that even started a bubble got nipped in the bud by our captains or our staff so quickly that our kids really all understood that they played a part in something bigger than themselves. Bobby Harrison is the kid that we have joked about for 5 years as the most mature member of our coaching staff. We feel like from the time Bobby stepped in as a freshman and he played with us some in 8th grade, that he really just has this ease to him, that he has a sense of calm to him, but he's all business, and he takes care of everybody. He takes care of everybody in the locker room and on the field and when we travel. And so, Bobby has really earned his stripes along the way, even though he played early, because he continues to take on responsibility, he continues to put other people ahead of himself, and yet he continues to play great football at the same time. So that was a lot of fun. And we always expected Bobby to be a great football player. Jake was a little bit of a wild card in 9th grade. He wasn't sure he was going to come back as a sophomore. We had to twist his arm a little bit to get him to play his 10th grade year. And the first week of camp, he just wasn't into it. And by the end of the season, he was our best lineman, hands down. And so to see him really develop into a dominant player both ways, to be an all-conference guy, to be a Division I prospect, is really exciting. And again, I think it's satisfying for Jake, because here's a kid who could do so much in so many ways, but to really find a groove here and to watch him just live into that's been a ton of fun.
I knew that, coming back, I'd have to fill a big role, and I like that because, on every other team I'm on, I have to serve a pretty big role. And that was my biggest fear, was that I would be, inferior in that. And once I really got over that fear, I love coming to practice every day.
Having those two guys, it was important, very important, key part to the team. Bobby's like another coach on the field, so, and Jake is too. They're both great leaders. Everybody follows them, And with those two, they always kept us in line. Kept us focused on the mission. And it was great having those guys on the team. They'll be missed next year. That's a hard, big shoes to fill.
Fred is such an exciting player. And the thing that's amazing is what makes Fred really remarkable to work with is not what people see on the field. It's what he has built his foundation upon, the experiences that have brought him to this place, the work he's done since he's gotten here, the things that happen outside of the lights really are what set him apart as a leader and as a kid who can really do special things. But on the field, he's electric, and we feed off of that.
Just the leadership, the intelligence of the game, the understanding of the scheme and everything, just him growing and having that experience has not only helped himself but helped the team overall. And I feel like he's a big part of the reason that we did what we did this year.
Fred's a very emotional guy in a good way and in a positive way. But to be able to channel those emotions in a lot of situations that were challenging, for him to be the guy who rose up in situations where games got tight consistently and make the next big play, it shows a lot of maturity. It shows an understanding of what's happening. And while there are things he'll continue to learn and develop, he showed this great sense of, hey, I can make a play when it matters, and I can make a play when we need it. And that was exciting to see.
I understand more from my freshman year, just reading the coverages and, taking control of the offense, not pressing, too much on offense, just letting everything come to me. So I feel like I feel way better on offense this year than last year.
Breon was a great calming influence and a great teaching influence, and it's probably, it doesn't give Breon enough credit to say he was a big brother figure, but there was that great, really strong familial relationship, and so they were able to bounce ideas off of each other, share thoughts, share processes. Breon could share his experiences with Fred, and Fred was all ears. And it was great to have that second voice. If I was on him about something, Breon could come in and sort of be the good cop on the other side, and vice versa. And so it was a great influence for Fred to have.
He played a big part, going from when I was a young kid, just going to Manatee games and just be like, I want to be like those guys. Coach Carnes was a quarterback there, and I go to the games. I want to be like Coach Carnes. Now he's coaching me. So he tells me he wants me to be better than what he was. So that's great motivation. Just telling me all the things that he went through. Because he took his team to a state title game. He was one of the top recruits in the nation. So it was good just soaking up all the information that he gave me.
Those guys in the backfield did a great job picking each other up, and if it was Ace carrying the ball for 80 yards in a game, there was Demetrius carrying it for 100 in a game, and Alex coming through big at homecoming. All those guys just had a lot of great influence on the season. And even a young guy like Ryan Thompson jumping in and filling gaps at the end of the year, being a physical blocker, being a good player. We just saw a lot of guys really contribute, and it's fun because they all get along. They don't feel like they're competing for the football. They feel like they're just waiting for their opportunity to make plays, and they make them.
2 years ago, pretty much everyone was going both ways. We just didn't really have all the depth that we have now, and guys keep coming in and guys keep wanting to come out. It gives us that depth, and it gives us the ability not to be tired and to wear teams down, and it just really helps.
Yeah, Demetrius and Patrick, it was great having those guys on the team because there was another dynamic playmaker on the field. Those guys, how about me, Alex, Ace. Jordan Morrell, all those guys on the field, it was, you really couldn't, it was hard to plan for us because we had so many dynamic guys that could take over a game. The
key this year was our kids just really having that sort of next level understanding of what we do and what the intent is and how the scheme functions and what their role is. And you can't single out kids on our defense who had a great year. There are just too many kids who played so well. But you think about a kid specifically like Lothario Jones, who's a junior and a defensive back. And being a strong safety is not always a glory position, yet we don't have the kind of year on defense that we did without a kid like Lothario who played that position so well. And again, we can name player after player who did that, but it was exciting to see kids just completely buy in and really get what we were doing.
Being under the scheme and Coach Valkersel giving all the plays and make sure everyone's on the same page and trusting in each other and everyone doing their own job, just the experience is the biggest thing for us. And I mean, we've been in his scheme for 3 years now, and so everyone's just getting a better understanding, and it's really helped.
They scored twice to put us down 14-7. And I think when our kids just sort of stiffened their spines a little bit and got after it and drove the ball down the field, and then we score right at the end of the half to take the lead into halftime, a lead we didn't relinquish. And actually, we didn't trail again all season until the 6th week. And so that was a really great moment for our kids to come around like that and to just really take charge of a situation.
It was huge for us, especially confidence-wise, because we wanted to start fast, which we felt like we did. Unfortunately, Thunder came, so we had to really persevere through that. But we were really hungry for that game. After our spring game, just 4 months beforehand, this was the one that we had circled, because they really came to our place and they had their way with us, and we felt like we had the team to come back at them, and we knew what that win would mean. And once we got it, it was. At practice, it was just upbeat, and we were just super excited.
Yes, the Windermere game, definitely everybody felt like, all right, now we're for real. Since that was the team that won last year, won the whole thing last year, and we feel like that was the game that we needed to win to make sure that we are able to compete in the conference, so we won that game. So, and everybody felt like everybody bought in after that. Coach Kinneric's always been a big influence on our lives, and what he does for the team, you can't do more than appreciate the man for what he's done for the team.
He's been great for the program. I mean, he came into a school that didn't really want to be a football school, and it didn't really have that feeling, and for him to take on that challenge and to make it what it's become has just been huge.
Really, on this program, I mean, he's brought everybody loves coming to our games on Friday nights now. He brought the atmosphere here. He got us to believe in ourselves and believe in what we could do, which was huge. And once we started having more and more success, it really just hit all of us like, he's not lying to us. This is for real. And as more fans started coming out, it just got better and better. So he's really jump-started the program, by gaining interest and just getting us to believe in what we could do.
View is, if you're in this room, with a possible exception of guys who arrived this year, you chose to play football at a school that most people didn't want you to play football at. Unless you're a guy who got here recently, even if you arrived last year, you were told you were going to a place that was not a football school. Couldn't win, couldn't be successful, couldn't be done. I tell the story all the time. The very first call that I got when my name appeared in the paper to take this job was Josh Smithers from Cardinal Mooney, and he asked me one question, he didn't even say hello. He said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "I am." There's something about this place. There's something about the community here. There's something about the people here. And that was long before a lot of you got here. But there's always been something about this place that has the potential to be great. And there are people around here who figured out about 2 years ago that it was getting good at St. Stephen's. And they got a little worried. Well, let them worry, because they're not getting in. They're not coming through that wall. You guys are that wall. Our wall is not made of stone or mortar or sticks or iron. Our wall is made out of flesh and bone, out of blood, sweat, and tears, out of the hearts of young men and coaches who believe it could be done.
Yeah, the Summer Ridge game, everybody, first playoffs game ever for St. Stephen's in history, so, it was a whole different feel at practice. Everybody knew what was at stake, first time ever, so it was a big thing for us. So we were ready. Everybody was ready, and we just knew we had an opportunity that no other team at St. Stephen's has ever had ever, so we were just ready for it.
It's funny, I think when we looked at the road 2 weeks out, and we said, what's the toughest possible scenario for us to get back to the final? We drew it. having to go on the road to Seven Rivers and play a team that does something that's not easy to defend, that we had not seen at all in the last 2 years, and so completely retooling how we do things, how we attack, and helping our kids understand their roles in that. And then also knowing that we were going to have to really be able to put up points right away. And in a playoff setting, you think, hey, maybe it's going to be a 21-20 game, and we knew that that wasn't going to do.
It was definitely exciting to finally get to have that opportunity and to make something of the program and to take the next step into becoming better. And the opportunity to play in the championship game like we did was great.
That teaches us that we have to work harder. We got to want it more than our opponent. At that game, our opponent wanted it more than us, and it showed.
I think so. One of the things we said is we know that this stings, and actually that's good. Let it sting. Let it fester a little bit, and let that become the fuel for what you do next. And remember what this feels like, and promise to yourself that you're not going to find yourself back in this situation next year. And make sure that we treat every opportunity as an important opportunity to do something else and to do something new. And so that first championship is still elusive, so I think that it does motivate our kids. At the same time, it was important to talk about the things that we had done. And we'd taken a group of kids and we asked them to love each other. And we say this all the time in our program, love the man on your right and the man on your left more than you love yourself. And they took that on 100%. And to watch those kids transform and to watch the community transform around them, I mean, there was just no way that we could have any lingering disappointment. I guess the paper quoted me as saying, I'm going to sleep fine tonight. I really believe that we had done all we could do. And would we love to play that game again and get another crack at them? Sure. But that's more just the competitor in us. I think to look at the season and understand what we did accomplish, that's what really is important.
We have a majority of our guys coming back, and I'm gonna let the guys know, just keep that in their mind that we lost the championship game, and we have more than enough talent coming back to go back 2 years in a row, so maybe 3 years in a row.
There's having a roadmap, and then there's building a road. And I think what our kids have done over the last 3 years in particular is cut that road out of unfamiliar land and really make a way for themselves. And now they really feel like that's a road that can be traveled and traveled and traveled for years into the future, that it exists, that they'll be able to travel faster on it every year that comes after that. And so that's been the neat part about this year, is they really made a way, and they went someplace that other guys just never were able to go. And they did it with a lot of class, and a lot of character, and a lot of heart.
If you ask us 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this was unheard of, this type of season.
And I feel like that not only me and Jake were a part of that, but all the guys before us, that we made this happen, and that they're going to keep it going for us.
Oh yeah, we're definitely a football school now. We're not, and the thing is, we're not even at our peak yet. We haven't even reached our peak. We're still on uprising. Because we've set our standards now. We're the most dominant private school in the area, which was never the case a couple years ago. And we're trying to become one of the most dominant schools in the area, public or private. So that's the goal, and we're going to keep going to reach it.
And I think where you go from here is interesting, because we could talk about all the things that we could do differently and all the things that we could ramp up. And I think the important thing is that we continue to do the things that we've always done well, to take the opportunities that come, to make choices based on what's in the best interest of our kids and not what's in the best interest of our egos, but to continue to do those things. And as a staff, to focus on the things that we always have. That to some degree, this is a ministry as well. We're in the business of loving kids and guiding kids and impacting their lives. And I think if we keep that as our priority, trying to change, or not change, but impact the lives of our players, and to see them leave here with skills, having learned lessons that go beyond the field, I think everything else takes care of itself. And that allows us then just to take things one game at a time and see where it leads and be excited about wherever that might be. I'm very, very fortunate to do what I do, and I think my coaches would echo that statement. And it's always bittersweet at the end. And the bitter part's not even the losing. The bitter part is knowing that we're going to have kids move on to another stage in life and not have them as a part of our everyday life here pretty quickly. And the sweet part is to know that we're going in the right direction. We're going in the way that we've always plan to go. And as that ball gets rolling and picks up momentum, now we get to see what is next and what else is going to happen, and see what excitement does to help us grow this. Because we know that we don't do it by ourselves. It's not 8 coaches in a room pulling strings. It's a whole community that believes in this and that makes sure we have the things that we need and is welcoming to the people who are new. And so to see where we go next is exciting.